blockchain about 6 years ago. First of all, doing marketing, started a company working with influencers, and then a marketing company, became CMO, started a CMO agency, and the CMO agency called Fractal has now pivoted into helping startups fundraise through IRL events. So the last year has been very intense of me and my team going to multiple conferences, connecting projects with VCs, connecting VCs with their investors, so also VCs and LPs, connecting KOLs through private events. So everybody who kind of contributes to launching a project in the blockchain space, we've cultivated that ecosystem, and that's kind of what Fractal does. We do the real life events that help you get to the next stage, and that's my company.
Wow. Thank you so much for that introduction. It's beautiful to hear about you and about your company. So over to you, Jerry. Can you introduce yourself to us? Tell us who you are, what you do as we proceed tonight. Thank you.
Oh, thank you for having me here, guys. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you, guys. Thank you, Godfrey, for inviting me to speak at this event. For me, I think the best way to explain it, right, is that I'm passionate about blockchain technology, and I'm passionate about moving traditional businesses into the blockchain space and helping them to achieve that. And that's what I'm really passionate about. And I like to do it internationally, right? And encouraging everybody in the world to start looking at cryptocurrency, start looking at blockchain. And that's what I'm passionate about. I've been doing this for the last 20 years, got involved with Bitcoin development and Bitcoin projects since 2014. So as you can see, I've been in the up cycle and down cycle. I'm working a lot I'm a partner in a real estate firm. So right now in Toronto, I'm a partner in a tax planning firm. So the whole idea is to move the traditional space into the blockchain space, right? So my background is basically traditional finance and technology. Now, somehow or the other, I'm trying to make sure it kind of gets directed into the blockchain, because that is the future. That is the future, whether we like it or not. And our goal is to basically educate each and every person on this planet about this future, because the media is not doing a good job, right? The media is, giving different opinions about it. And I'm telling everybody, you should participate in blockchain. You should do something. And do something, whether it is you or your family, or encourage everybody in your groups, to look at blockchain, have an open mind, and move forward, right? So that's a little bit about what I do.
Thank you so much for that introduction, and it's great to know great to know who you are and what you do. And as we proceed, I believe that we're going to learn more about what you do and how we can apply those learnings, those things that we'll learn from you tonight, into our various startups as well.
Yes.
So for the first question tonight, I'll be asking Rime. So one of the things that so many entrepreneurs have issues with is funding, and blockchain and other sectors are rapidly transforming industries, but securing funding can be a bit complex. So what are the key steps that startups in this space should take to position themselves for future venture capital or grants? I'll start with Rime, then we'll go over to Jerry.
It's Rime, but Rime was, again, a very good guess. But it's
Sorry.
Rime, like dream. Is that easier to remember? Rime.
Yeah, it is.
Right? Okay, yeah. Okay, so this one thing I think that I've noticed, because I started talking to a lot of projects in the last year to help them with marketing for fundraising and marketing for launch, but also before that for fundraising, which a token launch is basically also fundraising, right? You're just convincing more people to buy into the project. Maybe it's because I come from an artist perspective, but I think the biggest thing that I see is being able to tell a good story. So the thing with blockchain startups, most of them, is a lot of the time the founder is very technical. And so they lose sight of the big picture. of what this thing is solving, or they get too into the details and they forget that an investor has about 30 seconds to decide whether they're interested or not in reading the rest of your deck or even continuing that conversation. So I would say, I would say, and I do say to all the founders that we meet, work on a good story. Get a good 30-second when they say elevator pitch. An elevator pitch is just a good story, like beginning, middle, and end with a punch, right? So try to make that story as simple as possible, considering that the person you're talking to will most definitely not be as technical as you are as a founder. So that would be the main thing for me, is try to craft a very simple, catchy story that they can remember, that they can easily talk to other people about, and that you as a founder can easily pull out every time you're talking to a different investor, or even in the first few slides of your pitch deck. So that's what I've been mostly working on. And maybe it's because I'm an artist and I see everything as a story, but yeah, that's what we've been working on the most.
Thank you so much for that perspective. Having worked with developers myself, I know that sometimes, they get so technical that they forget some other aspects of, what they are building. And, inculcating storytelling into, pitching and, selling the product is one thing that cannot be overemphasized. Thank you so much for bringing that perspective. So over to you, Jerry. What are the key steps that startups generally can take to position themselves for venture capitals or grants?
Okay, so from my point of view, right? So I'm going to go from a traditional point of view, and from the traditional point of view, it's all about, just like Rime said, you have to make sure that your what is the uniqueness about your project or your product. That's number one, right? And then once you're able to articulate that very clearly to the investors, because when you're talking to somebody, you have like 30 seconds to less than a minute to explain to them what it is that you're doing. And if you cannot articulate that in that 30 seconds or 1 minute, you're going to lose the client or the investor, right? So that's number one that you have to practice. Number two is that, put together some sort of an executive summary about your project in like a couple of slides, right? It does not have to be 20, 30 pages, but in about like 2 or 3 slides or maybe 5 slides max, explain the basic concept about what it is that you're doing, right? And the whole idea is that then, go out there and talk to people. Now, when you talk to people, right, some people will like your idea, some people don't like it. It doesn't matter what they say, because the important thing is that you are the one. It's your project, it's your baby, so take care of it. And you only talk to the people who are open-minded to listening to you, right? So there are like, I don't know what the number is, but I would say there are like over like hundreds of millions of investors out there. Hundreds of millions of investors. How many investors do you need? 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 maybe, right? So the key is, put together your information, be to the point, put together a PowerPoint presentation or a pitch deck, and go out there and talk, right? Don't be shy, just go and talk, network. And then through that process, you're going to learn. People are going to give you feedback, critique you, right? But whatever it is, take it all from the positive side, absorb that knowledge, and maybe some of these feedback that you're getting might be maybe negative, right? Or maybe it's really something that you did not even think about. It'll open up your mind. So those are some of the things from my point of view.
I love that. I wish more founders knew that it was just a numbers game. Like, you just need to talk to more people to find your people.
Well, and the reason I'm saying that is because I'm in traditional finance, and I'm also part of sales development. It's a numbers game, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you want 2 or 3 investors to work with you, make sure that you go and talk to 100 people, right? Are you willing to take the 100 no's? Because out of the 100 no's, you will find 2 or 3 good people, right? And if you can't find from the 100 batch, you can't find anybody, cancel that entire batch, open up a new batch of another 100 people, and then keep on doing it nonstop. Because if you are a founder and if you're passionate about your product, it's no longer a job, right? You're passionate about it. It's no longer, and if you have to work 15 hours, 20 hours, 100 hours, it doesn't matter. You will do it because you're so passionate.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, Jerry. As a founder, you have to be ready to go out and talk about your product, talk about your startup. And there was something you said that really struck a chord in me, and that is the fact that when you're building something, you have to carry it like a baby. When you carry something like a baby, when you're carrying a baby, you want to nurture that baby. You want to feed that baby. You want to do everything it takes for that baby to survive, and not just survive but thrive. So as an entrepreneur and a startup founder, if you carry your startup as a baby, you do everything it takes to make it survive and thrive. Thank you so much. Now to Reem, I'm glad I'm getting it right this time. So as a creative, as an artist, how can entrepreneurs and creatives effectively use influencer marketing to amplify their campaigns when seeking grants or loans?
Ooh, when seeking grants or loans, I think influencer marketing is just the new way of showing that something has traction. So if you're able to find multiple audiences that respond to your product through the influencers that they believe in, that they trust, then they're just a way to show traction, because all that a grant body or a funder wants to see is that there is a market for that thing. So influencers are just a more direct way to gain trust and to go directly to an established audience. So choosing the right influencers is absolutely key. It used to be that it was very difficult to find audience data, so all we had was the actual influencers data, but now there are some really, really good tools where we can get pretty granular about exact audience demographics. So if a founder suspects that their audience is most probably women between 25 and 28 in a certain city, now there are tools that help you find who has influence in those markets. And so it's very, very important to start there and not just go with influencers that you think are cool or that would look good. It's really, really important to start with their audience and then work it backwards to demonstrate your thesis as a founder. You have a thesis, you're like, I think there's a problem here. I think I have the solution for it. And these are the people that would buy this product. These people respond to this influencer. These are the people that you should be targeting in that campaign. So yeah, I think it's just another way to show traction and to demonstrate that you're onto something.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Thank you so much for this.
Yeah, I would pretty much agree with whatever Reem has said, right? That's 100% accurate to the point, right? And the most important thing is that, I know also a lot of founders, they're so involved in doing their technical stuff that they're not even willing to, connect with influencers or connect with marketing people, right? So the key is to start that process, and you'll automatically know who is good or who is not good for your project based on the demographics, right? And that's the key.
Thank you so much for that addition, Jerry. So over to you now, Jerry. In your over 20 years of experience, you've helped companies raise over $100 million in private funding. So at this point and in this room, what advice do you have for startups or entrepreneurs seeking similar opportunities from your interaction with entrepreneurs? And you've helped a lot of startups, a lot of founders. So what advice would you give founders that are here today, or aspiring founders that are here today, and those that would later listen to this webinar?
Well, the most important thing, right, is that because I've been able to successfully raise this capital is not only working with small entrepreneurs but also for big companies all around the world, right? And the most important thing is, like I said, right from the beginning, if you have an idea, ideas don't generate income. Ideas don't generate capital. So you have to take that idea and put some work and effort into it to put together some sort of a presentation. Start putting, creating steps that you're going to take to achieve that vision and goal, right? And then if you can articulate that, right, and maybe you might not have all the information. Maybe you have a very good idea, but you don't have the team, you don't have the people working with you, right? But those will come. But the most important thing is to be, have your passion, put it in paper, start presenting it and showing to people what it is that you're doing. Or maybe even before presenting it, show it to who do you think are your closest allies, right? That's the most important thing. And what I do is that whenever I have an idea, right, I always tell the people the first step is that before you can even go to the open market, go test it out. Go to your friends and family circle of influence and get feedback from them. Whether it is positive or negative feedback, it doesn't matter. Think of it as you're practicing, right? You're practicing for the big grand finale show, and you want to make sure that you get all the feedback. And when you get feedback from friends and family, sometimes that is the worst. That feedback that you get is not sometimes favorable, but but you still absorb that and try to do something with that feedback, right? And I'm going to share a little bit later on. There are lots of different strategies and systems that are available for getting grants. I'll talk about a little bit about the education grants. There are a lot of government grants, not only for the Canadians, but for the international market. But like I said, there's a lot of capital out there. You just have to figure out a way, how do you tap into that capital, right? And how do you get them access, and what you want to do, that you don't want to sell anything, right? You just want to show them what your product can do, what problem it can solve, or how it can help people, right? If you can show them that, then automatically people are going to come, right? And then once you find the right influencers, when they send out that message, it's automatically going to come, right? It's automatically going to come to you.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing. So for anyone who wants to build something worthwhile, something tangible, you have to put in the work, from the ideation to, the innovation and everything you want to do. You have to put in the work, because there's a lot of funding out there, but you have to put in the work to access this funding. Thank you so much. So to everyone watching and listening tonight, kindly, if you have questions, kindly prepare your questions, put them in the chat box for our speakers, as they are, you have all the time here. You have direct access to ask them your questions. Nice. While we proceed, with the questions that we're asking. So over to you, Rime. As an artist, right? You have so much experience in the blockchain space, and then you've interacted with other artists over time. So how can imagine technologies like blockchain, NFTs open up new opportunities for funding and career growth to artists and aspiring artists?
I think the biggest promise, when I was doing music NFTs, the biggest opportunity that blockchain offers is having a direct link to your audience. So owning the audience. What NFTs do is you have, when you sell an NFT, say you have a supporter that buys your NFT, now you have their wallet, you have a direct access to them. And meaning, if you want to send them something, if you want to offer them an extra perk with your concert or with an event that you're throwing, you can directly contact those people. And that came from the obstacle that social media represents. So as much of an opportunity as it is, I think social media is amazing for art because it gives endless distribution. As long as there is an audience, you will find it if you keep at it as an artist. So the distribution, the barrier to distribution is almost zero now for artists with social media. But also, as a lot of people have experienced, you have zero ownership of that relationship with your audience, because any platform like YouTube, Instagram, like Meta and all that, TikTok, can decide to shut down your account for no reason at all. And then you have no recourse and you have no way to contact your fans anymore. And so what the movement was, let's say with music NFT or just NFTs in general, is that, oh, now not only do I have a way for people to support my art, the people who really want to get behind your messaging as an artist or get behind just the form of the type of art that you make, they were not only able to support you, but you had a direct link to them. So I think that's the biggest opportunity. We're still trying to figure it out to make, a platform that would kind of bring both together, have both the distribution and access to an audience that doesn't know you, which is what social media does, and combining it with owning that audience or owning that relationship, that fan-artist relationship. No platform out there has done it successfully yet. It's kind of like either or, but that is the promise of blockchain in this case. And I hope somebody figures it out.
Thank you so much for that. And I love the fact that you pointed out, the first thing you said was the fact that one of the opportunities offers is a direct access to your audience, to your, and that is one very, very key thing. And that's one great feature that, I love about blockchain and all of that. Thank you so much for sharing that with us tonight. And so over to you, Jerry. What are grants and loans available for people to access to pursue their careers and embark on new projects?
So right now, in Ontario, this is specifically for the people who are in Ontario, who are basically Canadian citizens and people who have permanent residency in Canada and living in Ontario. So there are, I think, over 100 programs available, right? Over 100 programs available, and some of these programs that are available, just to give you an idea, I wanted to find out, is there a way how I can share my screen? Is it possible to share my screen so people can see?
Godfrey, can you make that happen?
Okay, I'm going to click on it. Can you guys see my screen?
Not yet. Okay, yes, coming up now.
You can see it now?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, so as you can see here, these are some of the programs that are available. So you can see in business management, you have postgraduate business diploma, business administration, supply chain management, payroll, insurance, administrative assistant, immigration, international sales, marketing, social media, right? So that's all from the business side. In the healthcare sector, you have, personal support workers, addiction workers, community service workers, pharmacy assistant, cardiology and sonography, right? Child and youth care, massage therapy, medical aesthetics, right? That's in the healthcare. In the technology, you can see cybersecurity. Right now, cybersecurity, data analytics, data engineering, business intelligence, and artificial intelligence, project management. These are really, really hot programs that are available. All of these programs are available in private colleges. All of these programs are available through private colleges for Canadian citizens. And the grants that they are able to get is between $25,000 for a single person. If you're married, you'll get about between $30,000 to $35,000. And if you're married with kids, you'll get about between $40,000 to $45,000. Now, these grants that you're getting, okay, to study these topics, these are all home study programs. You study from home using Zoom. They are 11 months programs. Now, the postgraduate programs are 2-year programs, but most of them are like 1-year programs, about 11 months. And you study in the morning or you study in the evening. Morning is from 9 o'clock in the morning till 2 o'clock. Evening is from 6 to 9 p.m. And also they have some other programs which are flexible. If your work schedule is different, then you can kind of adjust based on your work schedule. So those are the different timings that you can do the programs. And the funding that you get, let's say, for example, if you get $25,000 in funding, that $25,000, half of that is grant. So let's say I'm just, to do the math quickly, I'll say like $12,000 is for the grant that you get. The other 12,000 is a loan, and then that loan you have 10 years to pay it back, almost zero interest, and you start paying that loan. It's like going to be like $100, $150 per month, and you start paying that back after 1.5 years of completing the program, right? So that's how you do it. the most important thing is, these programs have been created especially for new immigrants or for people that want to change their careers, so that they can accelerate their learning, because these are home study programs, and the curriculum that you're seeing, from these private colleges, because they're private and their home study program, the curriculum is almost the same like in Centennial College, George Brown College, or Seneca College. It's almost the same. The only difference is that you're not going in classroom, right? You're able to save that time. You don't have to spend 2 years or 3 years to complete that program. Here, it's like a crash course. So the reason why they're doing these programs, the government of Ontario is doing it, is because they want more and more people to go into job workplace and take these programs. And I'll give you one example. For example, cybersecurity consultants, artificial intelligence consultants. Okay, these are high-paying jobs. Most of them are like $60,000, $70,000, $100,000 jobs in Ontario. And because there is a shortage, guess what the banks and these insurance companies have to do? They have to get foreign contractors to do these works. And when these foreign contractors come to do these jobs, after 6 months or 1 year, they say, oh, it is too cold in Canada, or they don't like it, or they got a better job opportunity maybe in Switzerland or in Hong Kong or some other places, and they leave. So now, the Canadian companies invested so much of money in them and getting them up to speed and working on their projects, and now they leave. And not only when they leave, they also take the IP. So the government is actually, if you're married with kids, that, as you can see, they're giving you more money. Why are they giving you more money? It's because they know that, because you're kind of grounded, you kind of, they know that you have kids, you have home. That means you're less likely to leave Canada to go to another country, right? So these are some of the programs that are available.
Can you say what this one is called?
I'm sorry?
Can you say what this program in particular is called?
It's basically, all these programs are actually funded by the Ontario government. So they're private education programs, it doesn't have a name. All of the funding, education funding, is actually coming from the Ontario Student Assistant Program. I think some of you might know, the name is called OSAP. That is the funding agency for all education programs. And what we do is that this company that I'm working with, I'm a marketing partner with this company. The name of that company is called Team Karthik. So they are basically consultants, and what they do is that they basically help you and guide you to make sure that you select the right program, and make sure that you're qualified to participate in that program, and benefit from that program, right? So let's say, for example, if you want to do artificial intelligence. So for artificial intelligence, you need to have at least some basic programming skills, or JavaScript or Python programming skills, right? If you want to do cybersecurity, you should know something about network administration, or business, or management of computer networks, right? You need to have some basic experience to work on that, right? Because some of these technology programs are also hands-on. Now, all of these programs are 90% of them are on Zoom. But about 10% will be, you will have to go to meet with the teachers, and it will be in classroom, right? And that's what it is. And also some of the programs will also get internships, right? So if you are able to get internships and get the Canadian experience, that's fantastic. So that if you're a brand new immigrant, right? I know many people who are brand new immigrants, whether you're coming from Nigeria or from Nepal, or from even from, from UK. I know some people from the UK, their experience is not recognized in Canada, right? So now to get that Canadian experience, right, if you can go through these programs and you fast track it, that's, you're faster, able to get your job or the career that you want faster.
I think there was a question in the chat about whether this is just for Canadian citizens or if this is available for people outside of Canada. I'm also
No, this
curious.
is, this question, so this program is only for Ontario residents who are living in Ontario, and for Canadian citizens right now. So this is the government education program for Canadian citizens and Ontario residents who are in Ontario living in here. So you have to have your citizenship or your permanent resident status, right? Now, the good thing is that maybe, you might not qualify, but maybe you might know some friends or family, right? Refer them to us. Maybe we can help them, right? Because it's all about connections. And maybe because you help that person get that education, maybe, it's like, it's like fast forward your karma, right? Maybe you'll get something back in return in the future. I mean, there's no guarantees, right? But at least you're able to pass on this information and let them know from an education point of view.
Halima, is most of our audience here in Canada or outside of Canada? Maybe that would help us when we answer the questions to see what's most relevant for the people in the room.
Yeah, most of our audience here are actually spread across
Thank you so
The world.
much for sharing.
Okay. Halima, I guess your network is glitching further. Okay, while we wait for Halima to fix her network, Falekemi, you have a question. Please go ahead.
Yes, thank
I
you
just
very
take
much,
one or two
Godfrey.
questions.
Thank you very much. My question is, what Jerry just said, I mean, the program we believe is for residents of Ontario. However, I think we have a lot of people from outside the country on this call. My question is, do we have another program or another avenue for people to tap into something like this, like something similar to this that people from outside the country could probably could access, besides coming here to Canada? I just want to know that, is there any other way we could tap into or access something like this or similar to this program without being a permanent resident?
Okay, just to extend the question, Jerry, before you come in. So we have different people on this call. We have people from Africa, from South America, and then I think about 50% of the people on this call are actually from outside Canada, right? So they'll like to know. And then there are other demography of people who are actually based here in Toronto, but they are not permanent residents yet. Maybe basically temporary residents. So what are some of the opportunities available for those outside Canada and those who are here but on a temporary status?
Well, the only thing is that right now, right, this program is, is offered by the Ontario government, and these are funding that is available from the Ontario government. There's almost like $1 billion in funding available. So unfortunately, there isn't anything for outside Canada right now, right, from the Ontario's point of view, right? All we can do is that, through our networking, right, Godfrey, I will keep in communication with you. If there are any programs that are available for international students or international residents, then I will communicate with you, right? But right now, I don't have anything as of this moment right now.
Okay, thank you so much.
I'd like to offer a resource that has nothing to do with Canada. But there is a lot of money flowing back into the blockchain space right now. There are a lot of protocols offering grants to people who are willing to build something or to try and build something. That's the beauty of the grant system in the blockchain space, is that you just have to try something. They want people to experiment, and those grants are absolutely not geography bound. I will drop, am I able to drop a link here?
Sure, go ahead.
There's a link of about, it says 95 Web3 and crypto grants of protocols that are offering grants right now. Whether you're more technical or less technical, I've gotten grants for things that weren't technical at all. I've gotten grants for marketing events. So it's, one second, let me share that here. It's worth taking a look. Some of them are easier to get than others, but it's a good start. And it's, once we get into the grant, once anybody who's crypto curious or blockchain curious, or maybe some people in the crowd are already in crypto, but once you get into an ecosystem, it becomes more supportive to your project. So definitely worth taking a look into that.
No, I agree with what Rime has said. Also, I mean, there are lots of them. Just to kind of give you guys a feedback, also, I'm part of the Quantum Leap Labs incubator system in Ottawa, and that is the ICP blockchain. And if you are building on the ICP blockchain, then they can also make grants available to you on the ICP blockchain. And just last Saturday, Godfrey knows, we actually had a one-day training crash course here in our Bitcoin Bay office in Toronto, where we actually got like about 15 to 20 developers together, teaching them how to use the ICP blockchain. Now, if anybody who is interested to learn about building on the ICP blockchain, then what I can do is that I can put a special program for you guys, who are interested in building that ICP blockchain protocol. And maybe you guys, have some good ideas that, that they can, get you the grants, right? Also, the other thing is that maybe, I'm working on my project, which is decentralization of gold and silver on the blockchain, and I'm looking for talent also to come and participate into my project, right? Now, because it's blockchain, you don't have to be Toronto. You can be all around the world, right? So there is a lot of creative ways. You don't have to be technical. Like Rime has said, you can be marketing person, you can be a graphic artist, you can even be a musician and participate, right? Because each of these projects, guess what they need? They need somebody to create some sort of a music video, or maybe some podcast, and you need to put some blend in some music. So like everybody here, like if you got talent, you can use it. You just need to figure out a way how to use your and apply your talent.
Thank you so much, Jerry. Thank you, Rim, for that wonderful session. Like that was amazing. Just to share a couple of things about from what our speakers have said concerning going out and reaching out and expecting, getting no's and eventually getting a yes. I remember I've actually pitched our products on different platforms, and the last platform I went to, attend an interview where I was talking about what we're doing at Owojo. I didn't get in, right? I didn't get into the program, but I received a mail shortly after I was saying that, oh, okay, we know this is where you are as a business. We're going to give you a grant to support your hiring process within the period of 3 months. And I was like, I didn't even get through the process. I didn't even get through it, but I was able to access certain level of, grant to support my processes, which has actually helped us in one way or the other. So thank you so much, Rim, for sharing that resource. And I've actually clicked on it. I'm looking at it. Jerry, thank you so much for sharing the link with us. And Jerry is a resource person you need to connect with after this session. I'll be dropping their LinkedIn handle. Follow them up, chat them up, and get to network with them, build that relationship with them. There's a lot. In fact, when Jerry shared the opportunity for the developers session, I shared it with my network. I thought it was an online session. It was later I got to understand that it was an in-person session. And I was like, oh, guys, sorry, maybe next time. So thank God you're bringing this up and creating the same opportunity for the same people that want to participate in, the ICP blockchain community as well. So thank you so much.
Yeah, so what we can do, Godfrey, right, just so that maybe we can plan this in advance.
Okay.
I know maybe somewhere in December we can plan something for ICP, and we need at least a minimum of at least 20 people. So if we can get about 20 people together, so we can actually do an online programming class that they can attend. Okay.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Sister Adobe, I think you had a question. You had your hand raised. Can you ask your question? I think you had your hand raised at some point, but I sort of missed you. So maybe you want to ask your question. Okay. Yeah. So let's move to the next session. I'll just go through this. Give me a minute to do that. Halima, confirm if you're back to the call. Halima?
Yes, I'm right here.
Okay, yeah. Go ahead, Halima. Over to you.
Okay, thank you so much for that. So to marketing now, I'll be asking Rim, what cost effective marketing strategies can help entrepreneurs, founders, and everyone who is looking to build something? What cost-effective marketing strategies can help them stand out to potential investors?
It really, really depends on the product. But I would say one of the most effective things that is low cost at the moment is, and it works especially well if it's a B2B product, but I would say there's a big opportunity on LinkedIn to be a content creator on LinkedIn. So I know it's hard for a founder to take the time to create content, but establishing yourself as an authority on a platform like LinkedIn where the B2B business happens, even crypto. So crypto used to be very much, and it still is, on Twitter, but the funders are on LinkedIn, the VCs are on LinkedIn, the LPs are on LinkedIn. Institutions are becoming more crypto friendly, so those are on LinkedIn. So there is a big, big, big opportunity where at the moment LinkedIn is pushing a lot of content out. It's trying to become more of an entertainment, not an entertainment, but yeah, like it's trying to keep people online a little bit more. So there is a huge opportunity that I recommend to all the founders that we work with. Release opinion pieces, and one thing that does particularly well is if you are being a human. If instead of trying to look professional or trying to sound professional or trying to sound perfect, you're actually showing the human side of you and the human side of building a business, it actually resonates very much on LinkedIn because everybody's so fake. And so like, like so sterile, like it's a place that's very like, I don't know, maybe because I'm an artist, so it's like a very different for me, but the moment you show a little personality and a little vulnerability as a human in your process of building a business, LinkedIn responds to that because people respond to that. So I think the lowest cost opportunity that a founder that doesn't have funding can do, you can't do influencers, you can't do ads. So you have to do things that are a lot more organic. Content creation on something like LinkedIn is really low cost and high leverage at the moment. Highly recommend.
Thank you for that great recommendation. It's highly, you highly recommended, and it's a highly welcome recommendation. Thank you so much for sharing that. So over to you, Jerry. I'll be asking you this question, and then we'll see if anyone has another question from the audience. So I'll ask the two speakers this.
Sorry,
Can
we
you hear me?
lost you there. No, we didn't hear what you just said. Could you say that again?
Halima, are you there? Hello.
I think her microphone is off.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, we did not
Oh,
hear
okay.
that question. Can you repeat that, please?
Okay. So, Jerry, how can entrepreneurs and startups build strong investor relationships in today's competitive market? How
Oh,
can we see
fantastic. Fantastic question. I love that. So here is the most important point, right? Rime has already said this. Definitely put your information on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is very professional. So all of the traditional finance people are on LinkedIn. So if you're looking for venture capital, looking for financial people, they're on LinkedIn. Business people, they're all on LinkedIn. Your friends and family circle is on, is on Facebook. And then, of course, Twitter is in between there. I'm actually, now there are a lot of different social media platforms and you cannot have time for everything, right? So just pick one or two platforms that you think are the best and participate in those platforms. So LinkedIn, I would say definitely is, you can present your professional opinion. But the other most important thing that I want all the founders to do, right, when you're raising capital, right, does not matter whether you want to raise a 1 million, 10 million, 100 million, right? Set realistic goals, right? So before you get that 1 million, try to get a goal, set a goal for getting 500,000. If not 500,000, then 100,000, right? And before getting even the 100,000, set a goal for getting 10,000, right? And even before getting the 10,000, set a goal for that 1,000 or 2,000, right? So these are the ways, how you can approach people. And the best way to do that is one-on-one. I like to meet people one-on-one in person in networking events and share with them, right? That is the best way, because when you meet with people in person and share with them, they will be able to identify you, right? And it's not everybody is going to identify you. Some people will like you, some people will not like you, some people will ignore you, whatever it is, it does not really matter, right? But the most important thing is go out there with your vision, whatever it is that you're trying to raise, and go and talk to the people, tell them what it is that you're trying to raise, right? And that's the most important thing, is meeting people in person, networking, right? And if you cannot travel to foreign countries, I tell people, why even bother going to foreign countries? Look at your own backyard. There are like millions of people in your backyard, right? So why even want to, like if you can afford to go to international countries, great. But before even going to the international countries, Toronto, just so that everybody understands, I don't know how many people are there on this chat from Toronto. Toronto is the most international country in the world because of our immigration policies. So any country that you can think of, they're already here in Canada, right? So let's say, for example, if somebody wants to expand into Sweden, well, guess what? There are a lot of Swedish people here. If you want to expand into Germany, you don't need to go to Germany. You can find all the Germans in Toronto, right? If you want to expand into India, well, you'll find thousands and thousands of Indians in Toronto, right? So Toronto is a diverse, multicultural country, right? So if you know people in Toronto, that can help you to expand your international network, right? But the most important thing, like I said, meet people one-on-one and talk to them about your project, share with them your vision, your ideas, right? And be prepared, right? And do your homework, right? And put that pitch together. Whether it is a one-pager or your executive summary, have that ready with you. It's like your project is like your resume, right? Think of it like you're applying for a job, right? It's not a job anymore. It's your business, right? And you're going to talk to anybody 24 hours a day, right? And then whatever it takes, right? So last night I was at a meeting, right? And somebody told me, can you meet me at like 9 o'clock in the night? Well, it's important to me. I said, of course I can meet you at 9 o'clock in the night. I'm not going to say no, right? Because it's an investor that I want to meet. So sometimes you just have to be flexible, right? And do what you have to do to achieve your goals.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that, Jerry. I would also be asking Rime that question. I want to get your perspective on that. How can entrepreneurs and startups build strong investor relationships in this competitive market?
I 100% agree with the in-person relationships. That is the reason that we started running these investor founder brunches around blockchain conferences, because if we brought the investors in a room and told them the projects that are in the room have been curated, have been selected for certain traction or background numbers, which is what we do for all of our events. These are not open events. These are application through application. So when these people meet in person, first of all, there's already this idea that they've been vetted. So everybody is more open to communicating. People are a lot more, they listen a lot more when it's in a setting like that. And also one thing that Jerry mentioned is there is something about that happens in person, that is they get to see who you are. because there's things that you can't say on paper. Your resume cannot capture your essence as a person, right? Your drive or your ambition or your how excited or passionate you are about a project. So getting out there and meeting these people in person will let them know. People get excited by excited people, right? If you're excited about what you're building, it is what's the word that I'm looking for? It's not electrifying, but it's there's a word in French for it. Sorry, I can't think of it right now, but it's what's that thing when you can catch something? You know, you have a disease and you
Contagious.
It's contagious. Yeah, that's the word I'm looking for. Yeah. So excitement is contagious, right? So if you are really into your project, you know why you're building it, there's a way that you're going to talk about it that can only be captured in person. Highly, highly, highly recommend getting out there as much as possible and trying to get in FaceTime with these investors.
Yeah, definitely, I agree, right? And the other thing I just want to add, right? Sometimes, right, some investors, they might not even understand your project, just so that you guys know. They might not even understand your project, but just because they like you, they'll say, you know what, I'm going to invest in you. Or because they see what you're doing, you know, has potential and talent, they're going to invest in you, right? They're not investing in the project. They're investing in you as a person, as a talent, because they know that you will be able to do something with it. That's the other important point.
I hear that a lot from investors. And I was always wondered what they meant by they invest in you. And from experience, especially in the blockchain space, because you have to pivot so much, so often, because everything changes, the narratives change, the money in the market flows in different, the thesis of the market changes every week. But if they believe in you as a founder, they believe in your ability to pivot if something happens. They believe in your resilience. So all they want to see is you have the intelligence, the resilience, and the drive to pivot if something happens, if and when something will happen, because something will happen. And so that cannot be captured on your resume. That cannot be captured in a pitch deck, but they will see that when they meet you in person. So
yeah.
definitely.
Wow, thank you so much for that.
I just wanted to share with you guys one more thing, right? And I'll just give you, this is one of my personal stories. I actually went once, I remember when I was new to Canada, and one of my friends said, you know what, Jerry, because I applied to so many places to get a job and nobody was giving me a job, right? Because they're saying, you know, because when you're applying to a job here in Canada, there are like thousands of applicants, right? So you're just another person. So he told me, you know, this friend of mine told me, okay, Jerry, there is an event going in downtown Toronto at the Metro Convention Center. You have to go there and meet this person, right? And if you meet this person, I think he may be able to do something. And at that point in time, this is almost like 10 years back or more, right? I was looking for a project management job in IT, right? When I went and met that person, that person did not even look at my resume. He said, oh, you're Jerry. And he said, oh, you're from Goa, from India? And that was it. You know, he was just able to relate me from my country and the state from India, which is a Portuguese colony. And he said, oh, perfect. I have a perfect job for you. And he connected me. He just connected me with somebody and I got the job. That was it. They did not even look at my resume. That was all later on. Of course, you have to show all of that stuff, right? But the point of entry was that connection. That was the most important connection. So was it worth it for me to drive 2 hours? Yes, absolutely, yes.
Well, that's quite profound. That's quite profound. Thank you for sharing that with us. So for the final question I'm going to be asking, it's kind of a within one question, and I'll be asking both the speakers before they give us their closing statement. So for entrepreneurs looking to expand into international markets, I'll be starting with Rime. So for entrepreneurs looking to expand into international markets, what are the critical financial and operational considerations they should prepare for? What financial metrics or documentations should they have in place to help them secure funding and, operate more effectively? I hope that is clear.
I'm so sorry. I wasn't able to hear half of that.
I think there's some background noise that we were not able to listen in.
Yeah.
Okay, can you hear me clearly now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much. So for entrepreneurs and founders, looking to expand into international markets, what are the critical financial and operational considerations that they should prepare for? What key financial metrics or documentations or whatever you feel like, they can put in place to help accelerate their journeys and help them secure funding and operate more effectively? Thank you.
Ooh, I feel like there were a few questions in there. Because funding and operations, to me, are two different considerations. I'm not sure how to answer that, to be honest, because in the crypto space, your users can be anywhere where the legislation allows. So as a crypto project, depending on where you are incorporated, that might make a difference, but the barriers are much lower because you're not actually operating in a specific country. Or if you are, people use VPNs. So I don't know. I don't know how to answer that, to be honest. From crypto perspective, most projects get their users wherever, and there's not. I guess the one consideration would be where you decide to put your company, to domicile your company, makes a difference. You have to be a little bit careful. I remember when my company is a marketing company, right? But I did mention crypto very early on. I shouldn't have. I mentioned that I operate in the crypto space, and there were 2 banks that wouldn't let me open a business account. So, and then I understood that I have to tell them that I'm a marketing company, just a marketing company. And then I was able to open a business account. So I guess there are like small considerations like that. For fundraising, to be honest, it depends where the funder is. So in where I operate in the crypto space, the VCs are in different places. Most of them are just in places like the British Virgin Islands. So they're kind of freer to operate the way they want. Yeah, I think for me, it's slightly too broad to be able to give one answer, but I would say there are some jurisdictions that make it easier to fundraise. It's not that hard to figure that out, to be honest. And there are jurisdictions that make it easier to expand into because they're more crypto friendly. And a quick Google search will let you know which countries. There are a lot more now, so it's not just like, oh, you have to operate in this country or this country. There are a lot more now. But yeah, I think those are 2 different answers. One of them is Google where crypto friendly companies. The other one, it depends where your funder is, and they have their own considerations for where you have to be domiciled as a company to receive that funding. And it's not that hard to switch that if the funding is worth it. So I wouldn't let that be an obstacle, to be honest.
Thank you so much, Rime, for that. So before I go over to Jerry, I would like that you give us your closing statements, and then we'll see if we have any pending question to ask and all of that. But just what word or what thought would you like to leave us with tonight?
I guess something that I live by, it's a numbers game for everything. Find your people, find where you are appreciated. So instead of thinking, oh, this is a place and there's an obstacle here, there's most probably an opportunity somewhere else. Everybody has access to now ChatGPT, Google, all that. Find where you are. Like when somebody was asking, oh, we want to go to Canada and how do we get into these programs? Most funding is available to just to anybody in the world. So I wouldn't look at the doors that are closed. I would look at where the funding is. There are so many opportunities in the market, especially now as people get excited about the market. If you have an idea, you're excited about something, there is most probably some government or non-governmental body that is willing to fund that if there's a market for it. So I would say go. It is a numbers game for everything. So find your people and you will get to the next step in your project.
That is quite profound. Thank you so much. It's a numbers game for everyone. Find your people. Thank you so much, Rim. Over to you, Jerry. I'll be asking the same question. And this is for businesses and startups who are businesses founders that are looking to expand into international markets. What are the critical financial and operational considerations that they should prepare for? What, documentation, financial metrics, and whatever you feel would help them, would help accelerate their journeys and make operations more effective. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks for that, Halima. Yeah, so from my point of view, right, because this is what I do on a regular basis, because I fund traditional farm businesses here in Toronto and Ontario, and the rules are pretty much the same for international funding, right? So the most important thing is that whatever is your startup, right, you need to make sure that you have a business plan, your executive summary, who is your team, make sure that you have that in place. Then the next thing what you need to do is that you need to put together some sort of a financial projection plan, right? Some sort of a forecast. Right now, I know that it's a startup, so you need to get some people to work with you. Maybe they have a finance background or maybe accounting background to help you to put together some sort of a business financial forecast, right? Because if somebody's investing in you, right, they want to know, is your business going to make me money? That's what investors are looking, right? So you need to make sure that your financial plan or your financial numbers can show that to them, that if they invest in you, that they will be able to make money, right? Now, how much money they can make, well, that forecast can show them that, right? So that's one thing. The other important point is that also, work with and put together a good team around you. Maybe the technical people, the marketing people, the accounting people, create that team environment with you. Because if you have that team environment, now you are able to perform and deliver your project, how you want to, how do you want to grow it, right? Now, whether you want to raise, because it doesn't matter whether you're blockchain, artificial intelligence, cybersecurity, technology, healthcare, or traditional finance, the rules are pretty much the same, right? You need to make sure that you're able to deliver your message to the point, how the investors are going to make money. Is there a market for that product, right? That's the most important thing. And let's say, for example, based on the feedback that you're getting, you might have to adjust your plan. You might want to adjust your vision or pivot, right? That's what they call it, pivot a little bit so that you can take advantage for it, right? So for example, there was just one example that I want to give you guys that I'm working with right now is there were a lot of blockchain projects that were actually decentralizing data storage. And most of these companies that started 5 years ago that were decentralizing data storage, guess what? They are out of business, or they've kind of like become very small right now. So they were very early on and the market was not willing to accept them. But 5 years later, if those companies had persisted, they would have become very big, but they did not persist. So what happened? Some other companies took that vision and then took it to the next level. That is example of Filecoin, right? So Filecoin is now one of the largest decentralized data storage blockchain systems on the planet, right? And now there are a lot of other competitors that are competing with them to take access to that blockchain system, right? So all I'm trying to say is that, have passion, be persistent, be consistent, build your team. If it is the financial numbers, put those financial numbers together. If it's blockchain, everybody will want to know what is your tokenomics, right? If you need help with tokenomics, I'm pretty sure Godfrey knows. I'm available. If you guys need my help, I can guide you. Because like I said, I'm part of Quantum Leap Labs incubator in Ottawa for ICP. And I work on a lot of blockchain projects, so I can help you guys with the tokenomics, because that's the most important thing. The investors, when they want to invest, they're going to look at your tokenomics if you're going to do a token launch, right? If you're not going to do a token launch, you need to have a financial plan or a financial forecast. What do I mean by a financial forecast? Your income statement, your expense statement, your assets and liabilities, okay? These 4 components that I talked to you about, any financial person with an accounting degree will be able to guide you. right? That's pretty much it. That's what I wanted to share.
Thank you so much for sharing that with us tonight. So what would like to have your closing statement. What words would you like to leave us with today? What thoughts and what advice do you have for the founders and entrepreneurs that are in the room tonight?
Well, all I can tell you guys is that, like I said, whatever that you're doing, do it with passion, do it with all your heart, love it. Because if you love it, you will be able to achieve your goals and dreams, because the failures are not going to stop you. The obstacles are not going to stop you. All the people who said no is not going to stop you, right? Because you believe in your product, you're passionate about it, you love it, right? And when you love it, guess what? Automatically, things will get attracted to you, things will come to you. Maybe there is a time delay, sometimes it happens, right? Things do not materialize, because you expected that to happen in a business plan, but you just have to be patient, right? You have to have patience, be passionate, love what you're doing, go forth, go talk to the people as much as you can, share with them, and I'm available, Godfrey. Anybody that needs my assistance, I can help them, guide them in Ontario or international markets. If you need to get access to some grants, I can maybe position you guys or train you guys what you need to do, right? So that's what, and be open-minded to learn, right? Be open-minded to learn and connect. That's pretty much it. That's pretty much it. And then I think Godfrey has some, some airdrop information that he also wants to share with everybody.
Okay. So we have a question in the chat box. Brandon is asking, any tips on getting grants in the early stage?
Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of, like I said, like Rime has said, there are a lot of blockchain companies that are offering grants. It's just that you just have to find out which is the blockchain that you want to work with, and you will be able to get the grants, right? You just have to put the effort and put the documentation, because they're not just going to give you the money, right? You want to understand that they're not going to give you the money. You have to show them your pitch deck. You have to show them what it is that you're building. You have to show them that you have a plan. You have to show them that you have a financial forecast. Like, you have to put all of those things together. And because they're not only getting one application from you, they're getting applications from hundreds and hundreds of people, right? So it's a process, right? And sometimes it is, you want to participate that, and then, maybe you have a chance to win, and just keep on trying. Don't quit. Keep on trying and trying, because if you keep on trying and trying and trying, guess what will happen? You will succeed, period, right? So don't quit. My only thing is that don't quit. Keep on trying.
Thank you. Thank you. I think we have a yeah, go ahead, Aliman.
Thank you so much for that. Keep on trying and don't quit. It's only what you don't quit at that you succeed at. So thank you so much for that. So at this point, I'm going to hand over the mic to our founder, Godfrey, to take it up from here. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you so much, Halima. Before we wrap up, I think Adeboye has a question. You can unmute your mic here.
Hello, guys. Can you hear me?
Yes, sure.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for this, meeting. I feel like I have a lot of business and experts in the meeting here. So that's why I have this question I've been meaning to ask. Okay, so basically my question is, when you're pitching your idea, especially when it's a software-based project, right? How much of that idea can you share, right, without how much of it can you actually communicate with investors without like a fear or the risk of your idea? Because at the end of the day, your idea is your baby. So how much of it can you communicate without like a worry of it being copied? That's just what I wanted to ask.
Can I get that one?
Yeah, go ahead.
I will say what my one of my favorite gurus online says. Gary Vee says, ideas are worth nothing. It is so difficult to build a business, so difficult. Like, between How many people had the idea for Uber? Just the people who started Uber?
No.
Highly doubted. Everybody had that idea. Everybody and their cousin has ideas. Share your ideas. You might get feedback. If you are the fastest and best at executing, you shouldn't worry at all about ideas. I started running private events, deal flow events in the blockchain space as if nobody thought about it before. It was not a novel idea. It's the way I executed that made my events more popular and just a lot more successful. So I don't think you should worry about your ideas. If you are dedicated and passionate about it, you will be able to power through all the negatives of building a business, and you will come out a winner on the other side. And everybody else who just thought it was a good idea and tried to run with it is going to be left in that dip. So I wouldn't worry about it at all.
Thank you very much. I like the way you started that, like a wake up call. Thank you very much for that.
Yeah, and I'm just going to add to what Rime said. I agree with the 100%. So the most important thing is that if you don't share your idea, then nobody will know about it. So don't be afraid, because like I said, the most important thing is that the investors are investing in you, right? Everybody has ideas, but if you're able to show them with your idea what you're going to do, and you have the talent and you have the business and a process to do it, they will look at you and they will invest in you, right? And that's where you can get some lawyers to if they're interested, then you can get the lawyers involved with you, to have some sort of a NDA agreement signed with you, or non-disclosure agreement signed with you, to protect your idea, right? And if your idea that you think is really, really important, then of course you can get legal assistance to protect that IP, right? But at this stage, if you're early stage, go share with as many people, because you need to get the investors to work with you.
I will add something. If your idea is easy for somebody else to execute, you don't have a strong enough moat. So if you share your idea and then an investor goes, okay, well, what makes you the best to execute on this idea? And it's not because you have a particular talent, a particular market cornered, particular speed of execution. You have to have something, because at some point you're going to have to be public about your idea. So if you don't have something strong enough that keeps the competition from building it, the idea will die eventually before it gets enough traction or enough ahead in the market. So a good way of testing that is by telling it to a lot of people and then seeing that other people would not be able to execute because you have a particular thing that makes you the best suited to execute on that idea. So it's a great way to test that.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, guys. Really appreciate it.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much. And thank you, Jerry, for those wonderful feedback. I would like to give opportunity to Jerry. We have Jerry Kian on the call. Jerry, do you have one or two things to share with us before we round up? Jerry?
Hi, Jerry.
Hi, Jerry.
The other Jerry. Bitcoin Bay Jerry.
Yeah, the Bitcoin Bay Jerry.
Yeah, the Bitcoin Bay Jerry, yeah. Oh, Jerry said he has no mic. It's okay, Jerry. All right, that's fine. We have, I think, Angeline. Angeline is also on the call. Angeline, you want to say some words? Angeline works with the team here at Owitro. And yeah, Angeline, you want to drop some word? Angeline Miko. Okay, Jerry sent a message. He said he's inviting us for crypto Christmas party on December 9th. So you can sign up for that. If you're in Toronto, you can sign up for that, to be part of the party. I think I was there last year and we had a lot to eat and drink, and I made some wonderful connections as well. So you can join us this year on in December for that session. So once again, thank you so much. Thank you, Rime. Thank you, Jerry, for this amazing session. I need to go back to this recording and listen to it again and again and again, because so much was said here. And for me, basically, this is the whole essence of this. One thing I've come to understand is people are custodians of knowledge, right? You can go to Google and search for information, but the reason why you can go to Google and search is because people kept it there. So having conversations with you, man, has really opened my eyes to a lot of things, and to all our participants here as well. I really want to say thank you so much for your time. Currently, I've actually been at a financial simulation workshop here where we're building a company from scratch, getting it funded, and a whole lot is happening here. So everything you do that takes a number of years to do, we're doing it within the space of 48 hours. Right, so trying to understand and put our hands into practice, whether it be a blockchain startup or any tech startup or a retail startup, that's what we're doing, and that's where I am right now. So it's been an amazing session. I really want to thank everyone involved, all our community members who have been active and consistent with this platform. I really appreciate you for your time. And once again, let's put our hands for our speakers. You can jump a virtual,
Thank you. Thank you so much.
We're really grateful.
Thank you so much. And Godfrey, if you can please make sure that you give everybody the ECC airdrop tokens.
Yeah. So
who participated with us, make sure that they get that. And the ECC is just so that everybody knows, ECC is our effort contribution community token that we have built here in Toronto. And the goal is to share that information with everybody in our ECC token. And anybody that is helping us to build the community, you will be able to get the ECC tokens in participating. And the ECC right now that we are getting is basically, it has an intrinsic value. So you will be able to then swap it for, maybe for cash or maybe for other things. But more updates will come to you from Godfrey, but make sure that you get your ECC and accumulate your ECC tokens. Because, we kind of like, in Toronto, we are saying if you have ECC, you will be able to buy drinks for you, right? Somebody else said, can I buy gold with it? I said, yeah, you can buy gold with it. You can buy silver with it, right? So we are creating that intrinsic value. And the whole idea is ECC is our community token, which is linked to our gold and silver decentralized protocol project that we're building here in Toronto.
Yeah, thank you so much. So just to disclose, I think it's obvious already, the ECC community token was provided to us by Jerry, Mr. Jerry, and it's been an amazing one. So this is how you can access it. All you need to do is to download the Paytaka wallet. Just go to Play Store or Apple Store and download it. Once you download it, follow these instructions and generate your token. So you copy the token and share it on this feedback form. So all you need to do is just to put your name, your email, maybe a few words on what you're able to get from today's session, and then include your the address, that's your wallet address. So once you do that, we'll receive it from here and then forward your token to you. So please do that. Just visit our website, community.owujuk.com, and then go through this process of getting it installed on your phone. And once you do that, just drop us a feedback, including your token, your wallet address, and then we'll forward it. Once we receive it, we're going to forward it to you directly. All right. I hope that's clear. And if you have any question, you can also reach out to me for clarity. So thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate everyone. I think Adegboyega, you have a question? I can see your hands up.
That was from the last time.
Okay. All right, go ahead. Okay, that was the last time. Oh, okay. Yeah, so thank you so much. Thank you so much, everyone, and we really appreciate your time. Thank you, Rime. Thank you. When you get to Toronto, we should have a coffee hangout. Yeah. So when you get to Toronto, we'll have a coffee hangout and just spend some time together. Really appreciate you. Thank you for gracing this
Okay,
event.
thank you so much.
Honor to have you. And I've dropped a link to their LinkedIn pages so you can reach out to them, connect with them, and build a relationship from there. All right. So thank you so much, everyone. Appreciate
Thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much.
Lovely
Have a super
evening
fantastic day, super
and
fantastic weekend. Enjoy. And my only
Yeah.
thing is that don't quit. Continue your dream and build it. Go forward.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so much. Bye-bye.
All right, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Thanks, Jerry. Thanks,
Bye.
Jerry. Don't forget
Bye,
me.
everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Anthony.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Let's talk about